right down to Cocoa at home. It's clearly one of the best schedules in the state.
From looking at it, I see like about 4 potential losses that I could see realistically. IMG Academy, Vero Beach, St. Francis, and Cocoa. And that's not take a shot at Manatee. That's just like, I feel like at this point, Venice would probably be favored over Manatee, as well as Sarasota Riverview. But those are the 4 I could see potential losses. I would think that they probably at least split that. I could see 8-2 with that schedule. Probably losing to IMG and St. Francis. I could see them being Vero Beach on the road. And I could see them potentially winning at home against Cocoa that late in the year.
Right, so that could be a split, though, more realistically. At Vero and Cocoa is what you're saying, possibly.
That is, 7-3, 8-2. That's kind of where I'm leaning right now for that schedule.
I'm thinking 7 wins. Looking at it, those are. St. Francis, they get St. Francis at home. They're getting IMG. They're getting at home, correct?
Yes, both of those are home.
Those, if you can find a way to win one of those, pull that.
That would be impressive.
Yeah, those are arguably almost guaranteed losses. But otherwise, I think the rest of the games are all winnable for Cocoa.
You mean Venice?
Venice. Yeah.
Realistically, if they could beat either of those teams, then I can actually buy an argument for Venice being able to compete with St. Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah. I think where that game is going to be, wherever that game is going to be played this year, is going to have a lot to do with that argument too.
That is true. Like, Venice has not exactly had the best of luck when they went to Aquinas. Their one win in the past 3 years, it came in Venice.
Correct.
And another team on another schedule that we see a lot of out-of-state and big-time matchups from, Miami Central. Hosting St. Francis Academy, then hosting Miami Washington, playing Carroll City, Southridge, Miami Edison, Belen Jesuit, Miami Northwestern, Miami Norland, South Miami, and traveling to Chaminade.
Their easiest game is at South Miami, who is supposed to be actually an improved team this year and probably a playoff team. Yeah, so this schedule is insane. I would definitely argue this schedule for right there up with Venice. Among the top 5 in Florida. You can argue it either way, but this schedule is absolutely loaded.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of record I could see. St. Francis, that might be the only game on that list where you would have to probably say Central wouldn't be the favorite in at this point.
Carroll City is very, Carroll City is a very good team. So I don't know. I don't know who would be favored on that. We've seen through the years Miami, Northwestern, Carroll City, and Central. We've seen them all beat one another when they weren't supposed to. So
that is true.
I don't know how that all pans out, but I agree. St. Francis, to me, St. Francis on paper is probably 1 or 2 in the country. They're absolutely loaded. But other than that, I don't know if I would call them favorites on all the rest of the games. Arguably, Carroll City. Other than that, Miami Northwestern, I happen to feel might be down a little bit versus recent years. At Chaminade Madonna, what will Chaminade be made of? In late October. I don't know how easy that's going to be, but I would favor Central in that game right now. So that's San Francisco, maybe Capital City might be the only, and one might make an argument for Booker T.
So it really the very tough stretch, like the first 4 games, I would have to say, with St. Francis, Miami, Booker T, Carroll City, and Southridge, and then you have Chaminade right at the end. Then you also have several very good teams, but probably just a drop off of those teams to fill out the middle of the schedule.
Yeah, just a drop off. I mean, your Easter games are, Southridge, Edison, Belen, New Orleans, South Miami. That's tough.
That would probably end up, for most teams' schedules, that would be the higher end of their schedule, not the lower end.
Sure, that's right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I probably right now I see 9-1 from look at the schedule right now. Maybe 8-2, but that's where I'm kind of leaning right now. Is 9-1, 8-2 type of schedule. Well, record.
I mean, 9-1. I can see I can see that, but realistically, with all of those, all those games, I can see 8-2, possibly 7-3. But I would probably say, one of those games might catch them off. Will probably catch them off guard. Could it? It might be Carroll City. I don't know. I mean, they're playing. Keep in mind, they're playing. In 3-week stretch. You got St. Francis, Maryland, 8-24, and then you're on a short week. You're getting Booker T, and then you're playing Carroll City. On the 6th. So that's a real tough 3-game stretch right there. St. Francis is, to me, I'll be very impressed if Central can beat them, but I think they lose at least one in that 3-game stretch, at least one.
Potentially 2.
Potentially 2, yes, I do.
All right.
I would not be stunned if they lose, 3. Like I said, but Booker T is a very good team.
Absolutely.
It's tough. They're getting Booker T on a short week after St. Francis, who's probably going to be a very physical team. That's going to be a tough game. And then keep in mind, you maybe thinking ahead to your former district rival Carroll City. Are you thinking ahead? While you just potentially you should be yeah.
Could we
I think that Booker T game's a trap game for them.
That's actually a good point. Could we realistically see them start 0-3 despite being very talented as they are?
I don't think it's likely, but don't be stunned. And I'm just gonna throw this in there for icing on the cake with props to their schedule. The kickoff classic is against Cedar Grove, Georgia, on the 17th, which is that's arguably a top 10 team in Georgia. So it's very, very impressive schedule, right down to the kickoff classic.
Absolutely.
Not too many teams nationally that are going to top that schedule.
I agree with that statement as well. Here was the other one, the 4th one I had listed, St. Thomas Aquinas schedule, which got some very good games on it. Early on, I was not sure what to expect with their schedule, because honestly, when I first saw the first few announcements of games, I just wasn't feeling it. I felt like it was pretty much average, but the schedule, by the time it was finished, was very impressive. De La Salle on the road to start off. Then they host Birchton Catholic. They do a bye week in week 3. They go to South Plantation, which, look at their schedule, might have been really the only very weak game on the schedule. Then you have Mamar at home, Carroll City. Then after another bye week, you you host Plantation, host Deerfield Beach, travel to Fort Lauderdale, and travel to Western.
Right. I mean, to me, that's an excellent schedule. I mean, I've heard St. Thomas, take a little heat, social media for them, this and that. But listen, lately, the last few years, St. Thomas consistently, they play at least one or two games to a national power. They're still playing the teams locally in their county that are prone to beat them, particularly being Miramar and Deerfield Beach. They're not letting them go. They still step up to the plate versus those teams. They're not running from them. They've also consistently been adding a day power, in recent years. They had the series with Booker T. You had Central last year at St. Thomas. That was a great game. You have Carroll City, this year. And other than that, they're playing some of the better teams in Broward. At Fort Lauderdale High. I mean, they're not the level of St. Thomas, but it's a nice team. Plantation should be a solid team again. At Western that's not an easy game. At South Plantation, Plantation is kind of up and down above that 500 level. That's probably their easiest games at Plantation, but they're at De La Salle, Bergen Catholic. They're hosting them. St. Thomas to me, continues to play a good schedule. That they take more, they take too much heat, I think, from social media and what have you. To me, I considering St. Thomas is a national power, obviously, I don't see too much. I don't see anything wrong with what they're facing this year.
For me right now, I'm leaning towards 7-3 with this schedule. We already talked about the De La Salle game earlier. I do feel like coming off that loss, they're going to come back to beat Bergen Catholic at home. I see them potentially splitting either Mar or Carroll City. That's back-to-back weeks. I feel like they'll end up splitting that. Then I feel like there's a potential to split Deerfield Beach and Western for week 9 and 11.
Okay. I think they win at Western. I think they probably handle Western on the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. So Deerfield Beach, that score, I was at that game last year, and that score is a little bit off. I mean, overall, Deerfield Beach contained St. Thomas in that game. You can check out the box score if you want. There was a lot of points St. Thomas put up in that game, based on, just blatantly, mistakes by Deerfield. Fumbles. The first play of the game was a trick play, a deep pass to Xavier Restrepo. But that game was closer than the final score. I think this game this year is going to be within 10 points either way. I think Deerfield definitely has that game circled. At the same time, I think St. Thomas has Miramar circled this year, and that they're going to beat them. I see the most likely teams to beat St. Thomas as Carroll City, Bergen Catholic, and De La Salle. I have a hunch St. Thomas is going to win two of those three. You have Deerfield, of course. So I think the only four teams that can beat St. Thomas, that are going to be Deerfield, Carroll City, Bergen Catholic, and De La Salle. And I think St. Thomas probably win 2-3 of those. I think they could have at least an 8, maybe a 9-win season.
Okay, that's a fair argument. Was there any other schedules besides these that you wanted to point out?
Yeah,